Okay, good morning, dear students. In last class, we had discussed various numerical problems on mole fraction, molarity, molality, etc. Right? In today's class, let's start one more new topic in solutions, that is solubility of a substance. What do you mean by solubility of a substance? What do you mean by solubility of a substance? So, solubility of a substance is nothing but it is the maximum amount of substance which can be dissolved in given amount of solvent at constant temperature. For example, if you take 250 ml of water, in a glass, and if you want to find out its solubility at constant temperature, maybe at room temperature 28 degrees centigrade, then if the maximum amount of substance dissolved in it is said to be its solubility. The maximum amount of solute. For example, I will take sugar. For example, I am telling you that in 250 ml of water, this is a solvent. It dissolves nearly 30 grams of sugar. Then the solubility of water is said to be 30 grams of sugar at room temperature 28 degrees centigrade. Once again, I will define what is solubility of a substance. Solubility of a substance is defined as the maximum amount of substance is dissolved in given amount of solvent at a particular temperature or at a constant temperature. Hope you understand, right? So at a constant temperature, how much substance is dissolving, how much maximum substance is dissolving in a given amount of solvent, that is said to be its solubility. Hope you understand, right? Let's discuss two main solubilities. That is, first one, let's discuss first one, that is A, solubility of solids in liquids. Solids in liquids. So, in solubility of a substance, we are going to discuss the solubility of solids in liquids. You all know that there are some substances there are some solid substances which can easily dissolve in liquids. For example, salt and water. Salt can easily dissolve in water. Sugar and water, it is also easily dissolves in water. Similarly, so many salts and the substances which can be dissolved in water. Now we are going to discuss the terms related to the solids dissolving liquids. Okay. First one is dissolution. This first one is dissolution. What do you mean by dissolution? So, if you take some solvent and if you go on adding solute, what happens? The concentration of solute in the solution increases. Is it correct or not? Hope you are following, right? I am taking a glass of water, which is a solvent. I am adding 1 spoon of sugar and I am mixing. So, before adding sugar, there is no sugar in the glass of water. By adding 1 spoon of sugar, what happens? The concentration of sugar is increasing. How? By dissolving. The sugar is dissolving. Is it correct? The sugar is dissolving in the solvent. If you add 2 spoons, the concentration of sugar in solution is increasing. So therefore, we can say what is dissolution? The process of addition of solute to solvent such that the concentration of solute increases in the solution. The concentration of solute increases in the solution at constant temperature. This is very important. We have to maintain the temperature and pressure constantly. If temperature and pressure varies, what happens? The concentration also changes. Is it correct or not? So the concentration, the dissolution changes. So what is dissolution? Dissolution is nothing but addition of solute to solvent in such a way that the concentration of solute increases. The concentration of solute increases is called as dissolution. Okay. Next. So during dissolutions, whenever you are go on adding 1 spoon of sugar, 2 spoon of sugar and mixing it with a spoon, what is happening? The sugar goes on dissolving in water. Is it correct or not? So at certain time what happens? These sugar crystals collide with each other. The sugar crystals in solution collide with each other and crystals reappear. Have you ever noticed that thing? If you didn't notice it, you please notice now itself. So take a glass of water, add 2 to 3 spoons of sugar and you rotate the water in it. What happens? So during rotation what happens? Sugar dissolves in water, but there are some sugar crystals which collide with each other and crystals reappear. While mixing we didn't observe any sugar. After we remove the spoon, what happens? We will observe some crystals are reappearing. Why some crystals are reappearing? Because the sugar molecules are colliding with each other and again they are forming the crystals. This process is called as crystallization. This process is called as what? Crystallization. Crystallization. The reappearance of solute particles due to their collision at constant temperature is called as crystallization. So if you go on mixing solute to solvent like that, what happens? A stage will come, right? At constant temperature, if you go on adding solute to the solvent, a stage will reach. At that stage, what happens? The rate of dissolution is equal to the rate of crystallization. That means how much solute is dissolving, that much solute will reappear. Okay. So that stage is said to be saturated stage. That means the solution is saturated solution. So the stage at which further dissolution is not takes place, or you can say the stage at which the rate of crystallization is equal to the rate of dissolution, then it is said to be saturated solution. So once again, I will define saturated solution at constant temperature and pressure. A point is reached where the rate of crystallization is equal to rate of dissolution. Then that stage is said to be saturated state and the solution is said to be the saturated solution. Okay. Now these are the terms you have to remember during the solubility of solids in crystal. Third one is saturation. Hope you understand these terms, that is dissolution, crystallization and saturation. Now let's see on what factors the solubility of solids in liquids depends. As we are discussing about solutions, so we have to know on what factors the solubility of solids in liquids depends. A. Temperature. Yes, the solubility of solids in liquids depends on temperature. Whenever a solid substance is added to a liquid substance, there may be two kinds of reactions may take place. One is either exothermic reaction or endothermic reaction. Okay, you take some glucose powder and you add the glucose powder in a glass of water and you touch the glass. How do you feel? You feel that the glass is cool. Is it correct or not? So why the glass becomes cool? That means the addition of glucose or sugar to water is what kind of reaction? It is an endothermic reaction. Endothermic reactions. You have to remember that the solubility of solids in liquids, okay, the solubility of solids in liquids, solubility of solids in liquids increases with increase in temperature. With increase in temperature, if it is endothermic. So that means the reaction in which the heat is absorbed. The heat is absorbed. Example, any ammonium salts, ammonium chloride, glucose, these kind of salts, ammonium sulfate, these kind of salts, whenever you dissolve in water, they absorb heat from the surroundings. That means those are endothermic reactions. So if the solubility is endothermic, then the solubility of solids increases with increase in temperature. Okay, don't say solubility of all substances increases with increase in temperature. If the solubility is endothermic, then the solubility increases with increase in temperature. One more thing. You powder this chalk piece. What the chalk piece is? Calcium carbonate. And take a small glass of water and you mix 2 to 3 chalk piece powder in it. So 2 to 3 chalk pieces and powder it and mix this chalk piece powder with water and you touch the glass. How do you feel? That is, heat is liberated. During this reaction, what is happening? Heat will be liberated. Or for whitewashing, what we will do? Calcium oxide, quicklime. Quicklime is dissolved in water. So during that reaction, what is happened? Heat is liberated. Heat is not absorbed there. Heat is liberated. So if heat is liberated, then the reactions are said to be what kind of reactions? Exothermic reactions. So if the solubility is exothermic, then solubility decreases with increase in temperature. You should remember this main point. Okay. So why for exothermic reactions the solubility decreases with increase in temperature? Why? Because that reaction does not need heat itself. That does not need temperature. It is only the reaction itself is releasing the temperature. Instead of releasing temperature, if we supply temperature, what happens? It won't show any effect. That's why if temperature is increased for exothermic reactions, what happens to the solubility? Solubility decreases. Okay. So you can say here for exothermic reactions, solubility decreases with increase in temperature. Solubility decreases with increase in temperature. Hope you understand, right? Example for endothermic reaction: dissolution of glucose in water, dissolution of ammonium chloride in water. So for such reactions, The solubility increases with increase in temperature. Example for exothermic reaction, dissolution of calcium oxide or calcium carbonate in water, or dissolution of carbonate salts in water. So what happens during that reactions? Heat is liberated. If heat is liberated, then what we can say? We can say so that it is exothermic, therefore the solubility decreases with temperature. So you have to remember, generally what we think is whenever heat is supplied, whenever temperature is increased, the solubility also increases, but it is totally wrong. For some substances it is correct, and for some substances it is reverse. Understood? Understood the concept now? Okay. Note it down. Note it down. Let's see. One more thing I will discuss here. Next. So the temperature will affect B. Pressure. Actually, pressure also affects the solubility. But the solubility of solids in liquids, but for the solubility of solids in liquids, pressure has no role. Why? Whatever you may apply the pressure on solids, is the solids compressible? So is the volume of solid decreases or the mass of solid decreases? No, right? Solids are highly incompressible. If you apply pressure, the solids doesn't compress. So that's why there is no change. There is no change in solubility of solids in liquids by applying pressure. So, or you can say no effect of pressure. No effect. No effect of pressure on solubility of solids in liquids. So note it down. I'll give you 1 minute time. Later on I'll discuss one more thing. Next. Hope this is finished, right? Next more factor, that is nature of a substance. Nature of substance. Nature of substance. So here you can say, take some salt and add to water and mix it with a spoon. The salt will dissolve in water. Take same salt and try to dissolve it in petrol or diesel. Will it dissolve? No, it won't dissolve in petrol or diesel. Why? What is the conclusion here? Petrol and diesel are non-polar solvents. They are organic solvents. Whereas water is polar solvent. So here, one thing you have to remember, sodium chloride is a polar substance. Why? Because Na plus and Cl minus. There will be poles. HCl is a polar substance. H plus and Cl minus. So there will be slight positive charge on H and there will be slight negative charge on chloride. So due to coordinate covalent bond. Okay. So whenever if you add polar substances in polar solvents, they will dissolve in polar solvents. If you add polar solvents in polar substances in organic solvents like benzene, toluene, petrol, etc., they won't dissolve in that organic solvents because here nature of force of attraction, it depends on the nature of force of attraction. Hope you understand, right? So the dissolution depends on the nature of the substance. So one thing I will conclude, that polar substances are soluble in polar solvents, whereas non-polar substances are soluble in organic solvents. For example, you take naphthalene, you take camphor, they are organic compounds. They are soluble in petrol and diesel, benzene and toluene, etc. Why? Because organic substances, so that is non-polar substances are soluble in non-polar solvents. One thing only you have to remember, polar substances are soluble in polar solvents, whereas non-polar substances are soluble in non-polar solvents. Example for polar solvent is water, and the example for polar substances is HCl, then NaCl, KCl, etc. And example for non-polar substances is naphthalene, which is an organic substance, camphor, which is also a non-polar substance, soluble in polar substances, non-polar solvents such as petrol, diesel, kerosene, then benzene, etc. Hope you understand. So, therefore, I can say final conclusion is what? Final conclusion is that, so there is the solubility of solid in liquid depends mainly on three factors. One is temperature, and the other is pressure, and the other is nature of the substance. Hope you understand, right? I am moving to the next topic, that is solubility of gases in liquids. So you had written, I think you had written, I am moving to the next topic. Solubility of gases. You may get doubt, sir, what? Gases are soluble in liquids. Yes, 100% the gases are soluble in liquids. So do you want proof? Yes, I will prove it. Take one cool drink bottle and shake it. What you will observe? You will observe the gas bubbles. Is it correct or not? So by that we can say the gas is soluble in liquid. Whenever we shake, what happens? Due to change in pressure, the gas will come outside from the solvent, from the solution. Did you understand? So therefore, I can say gases are also soluble in liquids. One more example I will say. All living organisms needs oxygen for their survival. Is it correct or not? You, me, animals, every living being needs oxygen for their survival. We are getting oxygen from atmosphere. Is it correct or not? We are getting oxygen from atmosphere. Then what about aquatic animals? That means the animals which are living in water. They also need oxygen. Yes, they also need for their survival. But how do they get oxygen? Oxygen is dissolved in water. Oxygen is dissolved in water. What is oxygen? Oxygen is a gas. What is water? Water is a liquid. Solubility of gases in liquid. That means we have to discuss that concept also. Hope you understand, right? So the aquatic animals are leading their life because of the dissolved oxygen gas in water. They are taking that oxygen. Hope you understand. Yes. Now let's discuss the solubility of gas in liquid. Right? Here only one thing you have to remember. So that is here no crystallization, here no saturation, here no dissolution. One thing you should remember, that even gaseous substances also dissolves in liquids. So best example is carbon dioxide gas dissolved in carbonated water, that means cool drink. So you all will drink, no, you may drink Sprite, Thumbs Up, Taste the Thunder and all. I am not giving ad for any cool drink here, but what I mean to say is, in that also gas is dissolved. The carbon dioxide gas is dissolved. Hence, they are said to be carbonated water, soda, simple lagi. So simple. So we call it as soda water. Soda water we call it in general language. Understood? So the solubility of gas in liquid are also affected by three factors. Those are, first one, nature of gas and liquid. Nature of gas and liquid. Second one, nature of gas and liquid. Second one, the temperature. And third one is pressure. So the solubility of gas in liquid is also affected by some factors. One is nature of gas and liquid. Yes, definitely. If you take the nature of gas such as oxygen or nitrogen, they are non-polar gases. Oxygen is formed by O and O2. Nitrogen is formed by N and N2. Those are non-polar gases. Is it correct or not? There is no poles, plus and minus signs in O2 and N2. Therefore, non-polar gases are very less soluble in water. Why? Because water is a polar solvent. Are you following what I am saying? Here one thing, non-polar gases are less soluble in polar solvents. So the dissolution of oxygen and nitrogen is very less in water. Example, the dissolution of oxygen and nitrogen is very less in water. Why? Because oxygen and nitrogen is non-polar. That is why it is less soluble. You take polar gases such as NH3, ammonia gas. You take ammonia gas, or you take a gas of HCl. HCl gas you can take. HCl is a polar gas, H plus Cl minus, partial poles. Ammonia, NH3, N you will get, okay, it will attract towards itself. Okay, nitrogen has partial negative charge, whereas hydrogen has partial positive charge. Those are said to be polar gases. They are highly soluble in water. Why? Because they are also polar and water is also polar. One thing I will say, that the dissolution of non-polar gases in polar solvents is less. The dissolution of polar gases in polar solvents is high. Understood? Yes, that is about the nature of gas and liquid. Next, temperature. You all know that already we had discussed in the solubility of solid in liquid. Okay. If a reaction is exothermic, what happens? The solubility decreases with increase in temperature. Is it correct or not? The solubility decreases with increase in temperature. If the reaction is exothermic. Remember, dissolution of any gas in liquid is an exothermic reaction. If you want to dissolve any gas in a liquid, it is obviously what kind of reaction it is? It is obviously an exothermic reaction. Therefore, always remember On increasing temperature, the solubility of gas in liquid decreases. The solubility of gas in liquid decreases. Hope you understand what I am saying. One more thing I will say. So whenever the temperature increases, the gaseous particles present inside the liquid, they will absorb energy and they will move it faster. Why? Because they will get more kinetic energy. If you are walking, just imagine if you are walking, suddenly somebody pulls or pushes you from the back. What happens? Your movement will be fast. Is it correct or not? So similarly, gaseous particles, so dissolving solvent, whenever heat is supplied, what happens to this kinetic energy of the gases? The kinetic energy of the gases will increase and they move very fastly. So therefore, they move out of the liquids. If they move out of the liquids, what happens to the solubility? What happens to the dissolution of gas in liquids? The dissolution decreases. Therefore, one thing you have to remember, on increasing temperature, the kinetic energy of the gaseous molecules, the gaseous molecules also increases. Due to increasing kinetic energy of gases, what happens? The solubility of gas in liquid decreases. So therefore, solubility of gas in liquid is inversely proportional to the temperature. Hope you understand, right? Next, pressure. If you apply more pressure, more gas will be dissolved in liquid. That is, the solubility of gas in liquid is directly proportional to pressure. Understood? Hope you understood. So that means the solubility, whenever the pressure is increased, you all know that you are using LPG cylinders at your home, correct? LPG is what? Liquid petroleum gas. So the cylinder, if you take the cylinder, it will have so much of weight. Is it correct? What is it? It is compressed. The gas is compressed. Liquid petroleum gas is compressed in it. That much gas, if you remove it, what happens? Your entire house is filled with gas. That means the gas which occupies the entire your house is simply kept in one small cylinder. So that much highly they are compressed by applying pressure. Similarly, if we apply pressure, more and more gas will be dissolved in liquids. That's why I can say the